Has your mom ever told you better study hard to make sure you get a good job like a rocket scientist or a brain surgeon? The last thing you want is to end up flipping burgers at McDonald's for the rest of your life.
Yeah, man, you too old to be working at McDonald's, you hefty numbskull!
What if flipping burgers at McDonald's wasn't such a bad idea? What if working at McDonald's could make you more money than working as a doctor? It can, and here's how. First, let's start with the requirements for becoming a McDonald's employee versus becoming a doctor. To work at McDonald's in the US, you need to be at least 14 years old. You don't even need to know how to cook, since every crew member has to do a training course. Whereas to become a doctor, the education level is much higher. First of all, you need to finish high school and graduate with high enough test scores to get you into college. Once you're in college, you'll have to work hard, because to become a general practitioner, you will need to study for 7 years. It gets worse. Not only does studying to be a doctor take time and effort, but it will cost a lot too. Each year, expect to pay around $35,000 in tuition fees. That means over a 7-year period, a med school student will have racked up about $245,000 in college debt. But after medical school, a doctor will make an average 6-figure salary of $1,302 a year, while a burger flipper at McDonald's will only be making $17,160 a year. Plus, after 2 years, a doctor will have made $264,000, enough to pay off their college tuition fees, while a burger flipper in the same 13 years would have made a grand total of $223,000. So a doctor will be making 7 times as much as a McDonald's employee. So that's it. Why does this video exist? Why hasn't it ended? Well, that's because we haven't considered some key points like promotions. If you become a burger flipper, it's most likely you won't stay for 13 years. Instead, you're more likely to move up the corporate ladder. With about 2 years of working experience, you could be as young as 16 when you take up the role of shift manager. The shift manager's job is to maintain the well-being of staff and the customers. Unlike flipping burgers, this job will actually require you to socialize with people. You'll have to change and edit the schedule of who's working and when and deal with customer complaints. But it will be worth it for your $2 increase in salary. That might not seem like much, but instead of making an average of $8 an hour flipping burgers, you'll be now making a grand total of $10. Also, if you're 16, label or state that you are now able to work more than 18 hours a week, increasing the money you earn yet again. But if we compare your new earnings to one of a doctor, you're still lacking behind. So what's next up the corporate ladder? Well, after shift manager, you can start getting closer to becoming a real manager by working as an assistant manager, where you will make again an extra $2. You could reach assistant manager by the age of 18, and yet again, thanks to labor laws, have even more hours. Being an assistant manager is a lot like being a real manager, instead a lot crappier. You basically need to just assist the real manager by inspecting equipment and doing all the stuff they can't be bothered doing. Also, if the real manager was to call in sick, you would technically become the real manager. Or only for a little bit. But let's say the manager was to have something very unfortunate happen to them, like a freak accident. Or if you want to think positively, they get a promotion or retire. You would most likely take up the role of manager, which can be given to people as young as 20 years old. You'll make double the amount you would as a burger flipper, or an average of $46,575 a year. As general manager, you'll be in charge of anywhere from around 18 to 50 McDonald's employees. Why are there so many McDonald's employees, you ask? Well, because of the type of people McDonald's employs. McDonald's employs mainly youths to work at their restaurants. These young people are normally at McDonald's for experience and work minimal hours because they have to go to school and because labor laws require that minors can only work a certain amount of hours. So McDonald's fills in the missing hours by hiring some more people. So although 50 people aren't going to be working at the same time, you still would be in charge of managing the schedules and payrolls for a lot of people. Plus, since you would most likely get this job at the age of 20, you would now be a legal adult and able to work full-time. But it's still highly recommended you finish high school before getting any full-time job, since some of the other jobs a little further up require a lot of brain power. But let's check back with our friend the doctor. At this rate, the doctor will be losing $35,000 a year to tuition fees while you'll be making $45K a year. But when the doctor does finish med school, he'll still be making more than 3 times the amount of cash you would be as a general manager. So you can't stop there, you need to start moving from the McDonald's restaurant and into the corporate sector. So away from the delicious smell of sizzling burgers and that weird slimy feeling on the counter. You must become an area manager. This is where the big bucks start to come in. You will add $10,000 to your yearly salary, going from an average of $45K a year to about $58,000 a year. You can become an area manager as young as 24 years old. Your job will be to oversee all McDonald's restaurants in a specific area. You will now work mainly behind a desk, but you will be required to regularly visit the stores you're running. After the area manager comes the district manager. You'll be in charge of running an entire district. No, not like one of the districts in the Hunger Games, but instead a city district. A district consists of generally a little less than 700,000 residents. Considering there is generally one McDonald's per 21,000 people in the US, each district on average would contain an average of 33 McDonald's restaurants. That's a lot of restaurants that you're going to be overseeing. Plus, don't forget about how many workers are going to be in each McDonald's. Don't be surprised if you're dealing with around 1,000 employees. The pay is okay, with you making an average of $72,000 per year, but that's still only half the salary of a doctor. How far up can you still go? Well, the next step up is regional manager. You will now be in charge of a specific region, for instance the south of the United States. You will have a lot of work cut out for you, especially considering that the United States has a reported 14,267 McDonald's stores. You will literally be in charge of thousands of stores. You will have people below you like district and area manager to micromanage those stores, but still, it's a big responsibility, so you can expect to make about $128,000 per year. There is no real minimum age, but if you've been working at McDonald's for more than 15 years, you should be qualified along with a business degree to apply for this position. In fact, McDonald's pays most of the cost of getting a business degree, but really screw you over by paying you such measly salaries. But now you should be making about just as much as a doctor, but you can still go further. You could become part of the Regional Executive Board. The Regional Executive Board is the people who sit behind a long table and are in charge of the McDonald's operation in their country. You can be in charge of restaurants, media and communications, accountancy for your specific country. You can expect to make around $500,000 a year. That's on average $500,000 a year. This is where you start to get serious. But the doctor could still make more money than you. If the doctor was to continue his education, after 7 years, he could become a specialist. He could specialize in cardiology, the heart, or become a neurologist, a brain surgeon. Or my personal favorite, the doctor could become a gynecologist, which is, Moving on, these fields will take an extra 5 years at the very least. So the doctor will be studying until they're about 30 years old. But after that, they will make good money. Specialist doctors generally make anywhere from $400,000 to $1 million every year. That is a lot of money, so Regional Executive Board just isn't going to cut it for you. You'll have to become an executive on the board of directors. This is where the money's at. The board of directors are the heads of a company. You have people working with you like the chief financial officer, the guy in charge of finances, the chief supply chain and sustainability officer, who is in charge of making sure there is a constant supply of beef to make burgers, or potatoes to make fries. If you can get into one of these jobs, you could expect to make anywhere from $3.5 million to $5.5 million. That's not even mentioning McDonald's highest paid employee, their chief executive officer, or CEO Stephen Easterbrook, who makes a catastrophic $15 million per year. That's more than 100 times the yearly salary of a general practitioner, and 15 times the salary of a specialist doctor. But let's be honest, it's a slim chance to make it to CEO. It takes a lifetime, so you're more likely to become an executive. But hey, you'll still be in the top 1% of the population's wealthiest people. But before this video ends, I'd like to say that we're sponsored by KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I'm required to say that KFC is the best fast food restaurant out there, and that McDonald's is complete crap compared to them.